This is the Frat House Sports Show. And now for this week's completely different and humorous perspective on everything sports, here's Frat House Mike and Sidekick.
All right, well, there you go. You found us here at the Frat House once again on, couldn't have been a better evening. Switched it up a little bit here this evening. Frat House Mike here, Sidekick there. Uncle Mark, right there. There he is.
I'm right here.
And apologies. Do not try to fix your screen or your resolution. No, I actually do look this way.
Oh, boy, is my face red.
Don't you dare. I wanted to know what it was like, what Bob Costas felt like during the Winter Olympics. That's what it was. Yeah, you want to take your chances? You want to take your chances? This is highly, highly contagious. Now, unfortunately, folks, somehow or another, allergies and bad combination of allergies, and I'm highly allergic to poison ivy, which somehow or another whacked me right across the face. So, but anyhow.
I thought you gave up smoking in favor of chew.
Yeah. Well, no, we did that one quite a while ago, but not in favor of chew.
Chaw.
Anyhow.
Chaw.
So
I need to chew a chaw or a chaw chew. How do they say that exactly?
I apologize. No intention here to give you all nightmares or anything, but.
Look with your special eyes.
Yeah, really. But too big of an evening for me to miss this particular program. I had to be here for this one because, well, in just about 15 minutes from now, the first round of the NFL draft will be kicking off. Additional rounds come tomorrow, and then, of course, it finishes up on Saturday. And so I thought it was important that I be here. And, in fact, we've made the NFL draft our whole first and only big story of the evening. Now, we're going to run in. We're going to do a lot of talking about it for a couple of minutes, but we've heard a lot about this draft going back to last fall. And it seems to me that really, I don't know, gentlemen, but it seems to me that everything that we've heard about the draft has been, in my opinion, somewhat less than glamorous. We've heard that it's a weak QB class. Well, it is. We know that. A lot of offensive.
It's cold, right? It's a cold draft.
This is the right draft right here.
There it is.
It's always draft day at the Frat House in one way or another. So, go ahead, Mike.
Now, we know that we've got a lot of offense. Thank you very much. A lot of offensive
Sorry to interrupt.
and defensive linemen. But the best thinking is at this point right now, a lot of the really good offensive and defensive linemen are going to be gone within the first round. We've heard that it's the deepest draft for wide receivers in the history of the NFL. But if you're in need of defensive secondary, well, you're out of luck. You better hang around till next year or try to do something in the offseason. There's also been, it seems to me, gentlemen, I've heard more talk about more mock drafts from more people, and they go in series. You know, you get Kuiper's mock draft. I think he's up to what, series 32 or something ridiculous because it changes every hour. But, so we've had a lot of analysts putting out their mock drafts, and we've heard from everyone out there. And we know damn well that not a single soul gets any of this right. Really, when it comes right down to it, you know, I was thinking about this today. You know, Warren Buffett just got done his $1 billion challenge for the NCAA tournament. He really ought to do it on this because this has about as good a chance, if not less than that, of anybody getting anything correct, even if we just made it to the first round. So everybody just picked the first round. Nobody's going to get it.
Well, here's a quick question for you, though. You know, we've got, you know, all the rounds. What round is the bump going?
Oh, Jesus.
What do you think, Mark? What round?
I don't know. I'm figuring it's going to be around longer than we suspect. So it might be deeper into, might be third round.
That's all I could say.
Might be third round.
I'm really going to try to get through this whole show. But if it gets too badly and you just see me get up and leave, I'm just going to let the two of them run everything.
Hey, I'm on your
It'll
side.
be nothing but trouble. Wait,
Yes.
All right, so look, here's the deal. The folks out there have heard from every known analyst and, tiny street corner prophet that you could possibly imagine all across the country. The only ones I haven't heard from are the guys sitting right here at Frat House Sports. So
we are the prognosticators.
I thought this evening what we would do is release our own individual first round mock draft selections, and each one of us, I asked both of you yesterday, I asked you to go through and make your selections on the first 32 and guess the picks for every team in the first round. And we're going to get to those in a moment. But before we do, let's get to a couple of conversations that have been had. For all of the analysis that we have heard, and really, as I pointed out, much of it really not glowing with regard to quarterbacks, and specifically with regard to Johnny Manziel, I can't believe the level of conversation that we've heard about Johnny Manziel this week from everyone. And the speculation is running rampant. Where's Johnny Manziel going to go? And as much as I'd love to be able to sit here and say, who the hell cares? The fact of the matter is, I do care. I am very interested to see what moronic team is going to take this guy. Now, there have been conversations this week. There have been rumors. This guy has been connected to all three of our teams sitting right here. He's been connected to the Rams, to the Cardinals, and to the Philadelphia Eagles. Sidekick. Yes, Rams? No, Rams? What would happen? How would you feel if Rams? Tell the audience how you would feel.
I was going to say, I'm trying to remember if I posted it. No, I think I posted it in our group chat.
Yeah, it was an IM.
Yeah, basically my thing is if Johnny Football winds up on the Rams, you're going to see me leave the Rams as a fan faster than Usain Bolt can run in the Olympics.
My goodness, what a fuss you're making.
The Rams are sitting there with that second spot.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance you think that they might trade out of that?
They might. Jeff's been doing a lot of trading and stuff over the, as his tenure as a Rams coach. So I wouldn't be surprised if, somebody says, hey, I want to jump up on the board and get, and he'll get a deal done. I don't know if like you said, it's a weak draft, so I don't know exactly, how, ironclad set they are on who they want for their first pick. And God knows they've got a plethora of picks.
Yeah. Will you be opposed if they traded their first, that number 2?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay. Manziel to the Cardinals. Uncle Mark, your Cardinals, it seems they've been looking for a quarterback over there since, about 1967?
Yeah, I think maybe closer to 70.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You have any objection to this?
Oh, listen, I don't know that the chemistry with Coach Arians would work with this kid, number one. Number two, unless they're looking to replace, Larry Fitzgerald as potentially a runner, and they want to bring Manziel and try him that way, maybe it would work. Listen, they've got problems with quarterback, but I'll keep who I've got. Carson Palmer, I'll take him one more year, and somebody else can deal with the Manziel train.
Oh, so over Manziel, you're happy with Palmer?
I'll keep him, I'll take my chance with another draft. Choice. I'm not going with Manziel.
Would you go with a different one of the quarterbacks? How about a Blake Bortles if you guys got lucky, which I don't think he's going to be there, I believe, at 20, but go ahead. Would you go with Blake Bortles?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Actually, I do see Bortles going ahead.
Right, so do I.
Of the position for the Cardinals. So, but no, I like him. Bridgewater as well, I think has a lot of upside. I would give a kid like Derek Carr a chance with the Cardinals. But I'll be honest, below that, I would just as soon sit still and see what's available in free agency.
Okay, so Manziel, in other words, you're just not high on him at all.
Oh, no. He would not work with the program in Arizona is what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't think his skill set is proven. with the tough ever tougher NFC West.
And I got to tell you, from the standpoint, I guess as the Eagles representative here, I've never been a big fan of Nick Foles, albeit he had a terrific season last year.
Okay,
I really believe that ultimately the Eagles are going to end up with a different quarterback. I don't think it's going to be this year, and I definitely don't think Manziel, which should be the one. I've never been a Manziel fan. We really never have been on this show. No. I mean, we've been highly critical of the guy over the past number of years.
But, you know, I made a joke about it on the Facebook page. Wouldn't it be funny if he winds up at the Jets?
Huh, that would be hysterical.
With their propensity for screwing around with quarterbacks, they've got what's his name? The guy they drafted.
Who are we talking about?
Geno
Smith.
Smith.
Oh, yeah,
Now they got Vic, and there's a little controversy.
Well, listen, they had Tebow out there. They
watch him go out and pull in Johnny
erecting
Manziel just to keep things interesting because we have nothing else to talk about the Jets for.
Right.
Well, sure, it's a circus. That's what it's always been. I mean, they love to erect tents. They had Tebow 2 years ago, and they erected the tent for him coming in from the draft too. I love this. I mean, Manziel to there would be just so perfect. I mean, is this another Woody Allen movie? I think we've seen it before. That would be great. I think.
I got to say, of the quarterbacks that are out there, and the one that, and Uncle Mark, you just brought up Teddy Bridgewater. One of the things on Bridgewater is, and in fact, a lot of the talk today was, it's very possible we might see Bridgewater drop into the second round. But somebody that gets no play whatsoever, who I actually think is terrific, and I would put a greater stock in, is Zach Mettenberger over at LSU, from LSU. I like the kid. I watched a lot of LSU. I think the guy, He's 20. I think he's 22. He might actually be 23. This kid is NFL ready, I'm telling you. And somebody, I think, is going to get a steal with him in one of the later rounds. But, all right, so barring any possible trades, which is very, very possible, you could see trades, particularly up near the top of the draft board, up at the draft line. The first 5 picks this evening are going to go to, in this order, the Houston Texans, the St. Louis Rams, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Cleveland Browns, and the Oakland Raiders. And at that, that's going to bring us around here for us to announce. And I thought what we would do, just keep it kind of simple. Let's go with just the top 5, and then if there's any others we want to kind of throw in there that we want to touch on, we'll get to those there after the fact. But just take a look at our top 5. Sidekick, who you got going number 1 through 5?
Well, probably not too many big surprises on this list, but Clowney going number 1 to the Texans. Mm-hmm. Robinson going to the Rams. Watkins going to the Jaguars. Mack going to the Browns. And Matthews going to the Raiders.
Okay. Interesting. You have any quarterbacks in there? You don't have any quarterbacks
in the top 5?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. All right. On the mark. Numbers 1 through 5. Houston to Oakland.
Okay. Who wants a laugh?
We all do.
Well, that's good because it's draft day. Okay, here's how it goes. Number 1 to the Texans, Jake Matthews. Number 2 to the Rams, Calvin Pryor. Number 3 to the Jags, Jadeveon Clowney. Number 4 to the Browns, Carlos Hyde. And number 5 to the Raiders, Sammy Watkins.
And you don't have any quarterbacks going in the top 5?
Not in the top 5, no.
Okay, interesting. All right, so try these on, guys, and let's see what you think of these. Your 1 and 2, I've got actually reversed. Houston Texans, I got going with offensive tackle Greg Robinson out of Auburn. And I got Jadeveon Clowney going to the Rams. Albeit, the Rams don't really have a need for a defensive end. They really need offensive linemen is what they need. But, and then thereafter, my next 3, all quarterbacks. And all 3 teams need one. Jacksonville takes Blake Bortles off the board. Cleveland takes Derek Carr off the board. And Oakland takes Johnny Manziel. And that's where I've got my top 5 going. Interesting, we've heard the philosophies coming from some, particularly we hear it a lot right here in the Philadelphia region. We hear philosophies coming from some general managers. You don't go with need, you go with the best guy on the board, whether you need that position or not. I, for one, in doing my mock draft, I looked at need. I would be that kind of a general manager. Why would I take a player simply because they're the highest guy on the board if I don't need that position? To me, you use the draft to fill spots that are really, really weak and imperative that you have to fill. General manager, sidekick, what's your philosophy?
I think I'd probably go with some sort of a hybrid of that. Looking at need, but then also what is available at the time. You know what I mean? You know, how you kind of have to. I would gauge how imminent my need is.
Okay.
For a position player, and whether I want to risk. See, I was talking a little bit pre-show with Mark about this. I'm not a big draft guy. I don't have a lot of faith in rookies coming in and making. I'd rather try to get some seasoned players in. Yes, bring some players up and kind of, and coach them a little bit, but not have, a rookie coming in as a starter per se, unless, they're that impressive.
Interesting.
So that's why, at the same point I say a little bit of going with what's available on the board, because then you can look at, maybe some trades or some other negotiation, or even just, hey, I've got, like the Rams, we've got the number 2 pick. I don't know how much I'm that, destined that, I need a Robinson or somebody. Maybe I'll trade up for somebody that wants to make that leap, and, I'll get some other, fill out with some second rounders or something, something
or
like
wait the year and go to the following year's draft. I mean, there are teams right now that are already eyeballing up the 2015 draft. Uncle Mark, I get the suspicion.
Houston is on the clock.
Okay, Houston is on the clock. We are being told. All right, so we'll try to keep everybody up to date on what's happening. That would be the number 1 pick. I get the impression, Uncle Mark, from your mock draft there so far, you're the kind of, put your finger in your mouth, put it up to the wind and see which way the wind's blowing? Is that the way it goes? Is that your philosophy?
Yes, indeed.
No, seriously. Seriously,
after all, it is draft day.
No, seriously, need or strongest guy on the board?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, it depends on what your position is as a GM in any given year. If you're below the top 12 in choice selection of the draft, that tells me that you're probably struggling to get better. If you're in 1 through 12, that tells me you're in that franchise has a lot of need because they're getting a high draft pick. So I think as a GM, it's going to change depending on where you are on the board. There's gamesmanship in that top 12. Absolutely. You're looking to trade up. You're looking to trade down. There's flexibility. But if you're a pretty solid team, you're going to look at the draft differently, and you might go after a couple players just simply to have them because your roster is pretty good and it's pretty full. But you can use them as leverage down the road.
Interesting.
So, I think it does change depending. I looked at this draft when I did make the choice as though every team was terrible. And I based it all on the need and the fact that I'm terrible at being a GM of the NFL.
Well, here's a quick question for you, Mark. So where did you have Jerry Rice Cake getting drafted?
Well, you know what? It's funny. I realized I couldn't pick him more than once.
It's like anything else in the.
I had about 5 different teams I liked him for. I really did.
All right. Now, I thought one real quick last exercise we might do here. We all have our respective teams. You've got your Rams, and Uncle Mark's got his Arizona Cardinals. I've got my Philadelphia Eagles, and Brandon, our technical director here, has got his New England Patriots. And I thought what I'd do real quick, we'd run around and take a look at what everybody's choices were for those respective teams coming in at their individual spots. We'll start it off with Sidekick here because St. Louis actually gets 2 picks this first round. You already indicated that Robinson was going in the number 2 spot. Who do you have going to the Rams in the number 13?
Oh, let me see. Wow. Mr. Pryor.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. See, now you're addressing need there. Very good.
Calvin Pryor, right?
Yep. Who do you got going in? You had number 2. Who do you have number 2 going to in the number 2 spot to the Rams?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I did. I've got Calvin Pryor as number 2 to the Rams. So
okay.
Their first pick, not their second pick.
Okay, who do you have them going in number 13?
For 13, Taylor Lewan.
Okay.
Or Lewin. I'm not sure how you say it.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We know you're a terrible GM.
I'm awful. I am awful. Look, I put the shirts up behind me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I had, if you might remember, I had Clowney going number 2 to the Rams, and then I picked up Jake Matthews, offensive tackle. And again, I was looking at need. Your team needs offensive line help. Let's jump over, Uncle
You're
Mark.
not kidding.
Let's jump over to your Arizona Cardinals in that number 20 spot. Who did you have going number 20 to your Cardinals?
Well, they have a need. Not a great need, but they have a little need of secondary help on the defensive side, and I know Arians has stressed that last year. While they didn't make the playoffs, they were 10-6. Not a bad turnout. So Darqueze Dennard is who I've chosen as the first pick for the Cardinals in the number 22 slot. He's a very good cornerback. A lot of upside, big, tall, strong kid. So.
Interesting, yeah, and that's
Michigan State. He's a Big Ten player.
That, believe it or not, that's where many mock drafts have him falling. Is somewhere in the early 20s. To the Arizona Cardinals, I had C.J. Mosley, the inside linebacker. I believe I was addressing need there again, Uncle Mark, from Alabama.
Right.
And Arizona Cardinals, you had a smile on your face. I'm suspecting you had Dennard.
I had Dennard.
Yep.
Going to the Cardinals. Yes, I did.
All right. Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of talk here. Obviously, we live in Philadelphia Eagles land here. A lot of talk around here as to who's going to be getting the number 22. Of course, speculation. Eagles may trade it up slightly to, say, 17, try to address the defensive player. However, we know wide receiver is an issue for the Eagles as they had jettisoned Deshaun Jackson. I've got the Eagles picking Marquise Lee, wide receiver from USC.
Time's yours.
Who do you got for the Eagles?
Well, they made a big pick a couple drafts ago with when they got Cox. So going with that theme, I would to go with Cox, I would say Mr. Dix. Mr. Clinton Dix is
both
going to the Eagles.
Both those guys know how to play with balls, too.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's a true story.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Touche. Uncle Mark, who can I expect coming from your general manager corner for my Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, I'll tell you what, Chip Kelly, I'm all in. The guy seems to know what's going on offense. I say let him grow some grass over there. I'm going on the defense for their first pick, Deion Buchanan. He's a strong safety. He can actually play both safety positions. And you know what? They're not going to replace the guy they lost, so they better get somebody that can defend against them.
Very interesting. Actually, a good choice, too. And we'll jump down real quick to the 29 position for our technical director, Brandon here, and his team, the New England Patriots. And he expressed to all of us pre-show, New England Patriots will trade out of their number 29 altogether to move down to the second round and try to pick up additional second round picks. So that's his thinking on what's going to happen in the first round with the Patriots. What do you have, Sidekick, going on with the Patriots for the number 29 spot?
Stephon Tuitt.
Okay. A lot of people thinking he's going to go before then, well before then, but interesting. All right. Uncle Mark?
Oh, yeah, I have no idea. So I think they need an offensive tackle. So I see them going for Jawan James.
Okay, I don't know that name. Okay. All right. How about Lewis Nix?
Well,
nose
it is
tackle.
draft day.
Lowest next nose tackle from Notre Dame, and it addresses some need for the New England Patriots. Before we jump off of it all together, since everybody's been talking about it, I mentioned it in my top 5 picks. I had Johnny Manziel going number 5. Sidekick, where ultimately did you have Johnny Manziel?
I had him going actually 8th to the Vikings.
8th to the Vikings. Interesting. Vikings came out today apparently and indicated that they are not interested, but that's what they're saying. We know that on draft day, a lot of that might mean absolutely nothing. Uncle Mark, where did you ultimately have Johnny Manziel going?
Johnny Manziel doesn't go in my first round at all.
How about that? Oh, and you said you didn't know anything about being a general manager.
Interestingly, I only see 2 quarterbacks moving in the first 32 choices.
Who did you have?
Blake Bortles I see going, and Teddy Bridgewater I see going.
And Bortles you had going where?
Well, Bridgewater's going to go to Minnesota. I think he goes higher than Bortles, actually, in terms of the choice order. Let me peruse through and see where I have Bridgewater. I mentioned him, Bortles, right? Ooh.
Yes,
well, he's in there somewhere.
Okay. How many did you have going, Psychic?
I had Bridgewater going to the Browns at 26. Or not Bortles.
Bortles, okay.
And I did not have Bridgewater.
Oh, the Browns. Likewise, dude. Thanks. I'm glad you mentioned it. That's exactly where I've got him. Blake Bortles, 26. Browns, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
that's
Bridgewater.
That's the Browns' second pick, I believe, for the first round. They have 2 picks in the second round, or in the first round. Okay. All right, well, there you have it. Do we have an update on the first?
The pick is in, but not announced yet.
Pick is in, but not announced for the Houston.
Well, pick me a winner.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what.
It's draft day.
First round will be over this evening. I'm going to speak for myself. If anybody's interested later on, I am going to post up all 32 of mine. The first round will be done, but I'll post up my first round 32 on our Facebook page. So if you want to see that later on, get over and check out our Facebook page. Frat House Sports, give us a like.
And Mr. Goodell has taken the podium.
Alrighty, and let's see who we got. There's the number 1 pick.
I'm looking for the least possible amount of responsibility.
I got one right. All right.
Not too much of a surprise there. So Clowney off the board going to the Texans. All right, we'll continue to keep track of it. All right, there's our NFL draft talk. And gentlemen, if either one of you want to go to our Facebook page and post up your entire list of 32, please feel free to do so, but I'll let you guys make that decision. All right, let's go take a look at the NHL. Finally, we've made it to the second round of the playoffs.
Oh, wait, we're still playing hockey?
Yes.
Still happening, buddy.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we are.
Oh, the Blues.
Last year was the year you were out of it.
But the Blues were out. I thought the season ended.
Yeah. Not a typical hockey fan there at all. We only have 8 teams remaining. We got to catch up on those 8. Well, and that means we got to get Uncle Mark in here with our weekly hat trick segment. And Uncle Mark, I would say this: second round is, I don't know, it feels like it's moving a lot faster than the first round did. I don't know if it's because there are fewer games or not, but I'll tell you what, let's real quick, before we have you jump in and take a look at each one of the series, we'll take a look real quick at what the Eastern Conference is looking like. We got Montreal 3 seed up against Boston. Right now, surprisingly, Canadians have the lead in that one, 2-1. They did win 1 game in Boston, so technically they've kind of stolen home ice advantage away from the Bruins. The Rangers, number 2 seed, Pittsburgh, number 1. Pittsburgh appears to have a fairly commanding control of that one, leading that series 3-1. Over in the West, we've got the Minnesota Wild, number 4 seed against the number 3 seed in the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks leading that one 2-1, and so that one's kind of going to chalk at the moment. Los Angeles Kings, 3 seed versus the number 1 Anaheim Ducks. This one is the furthest thing from chalk, however, as the Kings right now are leading that one 2-0. Uncle Mark, I believe you want to start it off a little bit real quick with the Montreal Canadiens and that Boston Bruins series.
Yeah, that's a great series. You know, Boston has yet to lose 2 games in a row in the playoffs, and Montreal has yet to lose at home. So this next game tonight One of those trends is definitely going to be over. A couple of keys for Boston. They're down. They've got to find a way to stop PK Subban somehow. He's had a hand in 6 of the 10 Montreal goals in the series by himself. He's been the pivot and has made every bit of the difference. And the other thing the Boston Bruins need to do is get out of the gate a lot faster in Game 4 than Montreal, because thus far that's not been the case. They've tended to develop in the second and third period after Montreal established their game and Price had already established his presence. For the Canadians, it's simple. Just continue to exploit Boston's slow start on the other side of it and create the odd man breakaways and rushes on Tuukka Rask, because he's proven to be vulnerable. And they dramatically reduced the number of shots that Price faced in Game 1, and they've got to continue doing that because they really can beat Boston in a wide open shootout.
All right. Let's jump over real quick to that one series that I say is not going chalk at all. We got the Kings right now up 2-0 on the Ducks. Of course, the Kings came all the way back from being down 3-0 in the first round to win that series 4-3. Are we seeing something similar here?
I'll tell you, this is very interesting, Mike, because personally I'm surprised by the series result. LA clearly controls everything thus far, having won both in the Ducks barn. And they're playing the next 2 at home, so, this Anaheim team is very talented. They're not just going to roll over, but this is very close to the end for them. Their back is against the wall. They've got the shots against the Ducks, but they don't have the quality chances. They've potted merely 3 goals thus far in the series. Much like the Bruins, Anaheim has to force quick to make that second save and find some deflection and dirty goals, because they're not going to do it on talent alone. On the other side, the Kings, William Jennings Trophy winner, it goes to the team with the lowest goals against average. Well, that's who we have here in the Kings. So the Ducks, while they were the most offensively productive team during the regular season, LA holds the lead in games. These games essentially come down to 1 goal each so far in this series. Anaheim is not going to roll over, like I say. So LA can't get comfortable because they saw what happened to San Jose, who tried to do the same to them.
I think we're looking at Game 3 this evening in that series. I think that's tonight.
That is correct.
Now, back over in the East, Pittsburgh Penguins, I had mentioned, are leading that series quite sufficiently at this point. This is a case where the Rangers are just outmatched, right?
It would certainly appear so, and I don't see it necessarily changing unless something radically happened overnight or in the dressing room with the coach, because the Penguins have put together 3 consecutive wins in this series. Let's not forget, the Rangers were up 1-0. They're back at home at the Consol Energy Center on Friday, and that place is going to just be rocking. The Rangers, I don't know. Somebody's got to wake up Rick Nash, tell him what time it is. He's not been out of it exactly in the playoffs. He's registered 45 shots through the 2 series with the Flyers and the Penguins, but he's got no goals. He's gripping his stick way too hard, and he's gone ice cold. The other problem over there, Martin St. Louis, hasn't shown up as expected. He's not punched the clock for them in the playoffs thus far either, and that trade with Tampa Bay is starting to taste really, really sour. For the Penguins, quite simply, it's all comes down to this. It took until this round, but the Penguins trio, Crosby, Malkin, Kunitz, they're playing like a unit possessed in this second round, and it almost seems unstoppable. Pittsburgh's won virtually all the puck battles and made the Rangers pay when they've attempted to molest Fleury in any way down in his office. At this point, King Henrik is about a meltdown. We saw him smash his stick in frustration the other night. They're down 3-1, and this might well be over with the next matchup.
Yep. All right, and finally, the one game, I guess the one series that I said is kind of going to form, the Minnesota Wild and the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks leading that one 2-1. Is this going to come down to, say, 6-7 games and just play out?
Well, it would appear it's going to have to happen that way for Minnesota once again. You know, as I said last week about this Wild team, this year is going to result in either a higher expectation or drastically altered perception about what direction this franchise is going. Their win at home in Game 3 displays they have life, but it hardly proves that they've got longevity against defending Stanley Cup champs like this Chicago team. For the Wild, quite simply, they were outscored in the first 2 games 9-3. But they put together 4 unanswered goals behind Brizgalov, and they got a perfect shutout for Game 3 at their barn. So, yeah, Frat House Mike, it looks like they're trying to turn this just the way they did in the first series and come back and keep it alive. The Blackhawks took a night off, let's be honest, for Game 3. Taves, Bickle, Hossa, Cain, they're going to return to form as they did in Games 1 and 2, which resulted in the 9 goals that they were able to put up, and I fully expect that to happen. As far as Crawford, he too seemed to have an off night. He got pulled in favor of the backup. He surrendered 3 goals on 17 shots, but I don't expect that to continue. So Minnesota is hoping to hold on and get this split. If they don't, I'm not surprised. If they do, yeah, look for this to go 7.
Okay. All right, there you have it. There's our hockey wrap-up for this week. And my suspicion would be by next week at this time, we're going to see a couple of these series wrapped up by next Thursday when we come back at you.
And that'll be another draft day.
Uh-oh. We have 2. No.
Mm-hmm. Well, every show day.
Not the kind of draft day you all folks are all thinking of. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's switch it up. We've had a lot of conversations here this evening so far about NFL, football, NHL, hockey. But, folks, there is a baseball season that's going on, and it's underway right now, and it's just a little bit over a month old. So, want to briefly mention a few things happening in our ballparks around the country. And as always, that's brought to you by our friends over at CLW83.com. Jim and Carl over there, thanks very much. You can check out Jim's podcast, Touch 'Em All. Another new one coming up shortly. But many thanks to you guys. CLW83.com. Get over there and check them out. We got an update? Go ahead.
Real quick. Number 2 pick, Greg Robinson to the Rams.
Okay. All right.
Hey, I'm 2 for 2.
My goodness. You got it.
That's going to end.
All right. All right. Yeah, there we go.
It's time again for Frat House Mike's Screwball Stories.
Yeah. All right. So a couple of things I'll bring up to you here. We'll start it off with the San Francisco Giants starting right-hander pitcher Matt Cain. Currently on the disabled list. What do you think? Rotator issue? Elbow soreness? Tommy John? Nope.
What did you do?
Yeah, really? How about a lacerated hand? This guy doesn't look like he needs to use knives. But he was using one the other day. Seems the 29-year-old, 10-year veteran cut his hand with a knife making a ham and cheese sandwich in the clubhouse.
Whoops.
What was he at a bridge game? He was cutting them into triangles.
Yeah, right,
I heard.
exactly.
I think that's a man card violation. What's going on?
According to the San Francisco Chronicle, Cain wants it known that he had finished the ham and cheese sandwich and grabbed the knife so he could cut it. Quote, I went to cut it to make it into fancy triangles.
What'd I say? I mean,
Exactly.
That's a problem. There's a problem in this clubhouse. Somebody's got to address this.
I wonder if Lincecum had anything to do with this. What do you think?
I was going to say, but don't they play on a diamond?
You think it was that kind of a diamond he was trying to cut it into? When he dropped the knife, he tried to catch it, and now he's on the DL for just the second time in his 10-year career. Now, my thinking was, had Cain actually been throwing the knife, as opposed to trying to catch it, he probably would have been okay. I don't know. All right, it was just announced the other day, the rediscovery of some archived actual film footage in the Library and Archives of Canada in Quebec, a British-Canadian newsreel of the 1919 World Series. And I wish I could actually bring you that footage here, but unfortunately I can't due to copyright issues. But the age and surprising good condition of this near 100-year-old relic, well, that kind of makes it a special find by itself. However, when you think about it, what really makes this one fascinating is that the 1919 World Series was between the Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds in the infamous Black Sox scandal.
Tainted. We got some tainted footage right there.
Really.
It's in sepia tone.
Yeah, it is, too. You can find, now, one of the things I did, you can find this footage. You can go and take a look at it. You can find it over on our Facebook page. I posted it up yesterday. That was May 7th. So go look for the post from May 7th. And there, I've given you just yet another good reason to get over to our Facebook page, Frat House Sports. Give us a like, and then you can see. This is just really, really cool to watch. It runs about almost 5 minutes long. So there's quite a bit of footage there. Very, very cool. All right. And last but not least, Tuesday evening, Texas Rangers, they were getting blown out by the Colorado Rockies. So Rangers manager Ron Washington, he pulled a surprise move in the 8th inning by having his designated hitter, Mitch Moreland, take the mound as the pitcher.
Very cool.
It was. Washington, he may want to consider doing this a little more regularly with Moreland. As Moreland took care of the Rockies, 1-2-3 for the Rockies' only shutout inning of the entire game. All the other pitchers, oh no, the Rockies beat them up. This guy Moreland, no way. He was clocked at a high of 95 with most of his pitches anywhere between 92 and 94 miles per hour, and he retired Jordan Pacheco, Corey Dickerson, and Charlie Blackmon. Wow. You got a relief pitcher and a designated hitter. And I guess the final question I would just throw out is, does that make him worth his $2.6 million a year salary? Playing two positions?
He's multitasking.
It's the kind of guy that Chip Kelly would like. Speaking of the draft, where are we? We're waiting.
Pick is in.
We're waiting.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is.
This is the number 3 pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay.
They're apparently using it.
Okay. All right. So while we're waiting, let's go take a look at the American League standings real quick. Orioles now currently lead the East. Actually, they're technically tied with the Yankees, but they're sitting atop with a tiebreaker. Tigers right now are 5 in front of the White Sox. They were the biggest movers this past week. And the A's right now 2 games in front of the Seattle Mariners. Also a big mover, getting up into the 2nd spot in the West. Over in the National League. We would have had to have put this up anyhow because this is a big, big story. That, can you believe it, are the Marlins. They're right there, yes, sitting atop.
That monkey's might fly out of my butt.
Really? Sitting atop the NL East. Technically, they're tied. But we'll keep that quiet with the Nationals. But they do actually lead the East on a tiebreaker. Brewers right now 4 in front of the Cardinals. Brewers came down slightly, a little bit deflated in the past week. Just 4 in front of your Cardinals. Giants currently leading the West. They're technically tied as well with the Rockies, but lead by a tiebreaker as well. All right, and there you have it. There's our baseball chat brought to you by CLW83.com. All right, get out there and check that out.
Go on.
Blake Bortles
to the Jaguars.
Wow.
I got that one.
It's my quarterback.
That was mine. Yeah, that's my quarterback. Might have a new quarterback.
Look at poor Johnny.
Might have a new quarterback.
He doesn't look happy about that.
He's going to look even worse by the time it gets to be like 20, 25.
2nd round.
Yeah. He'll be one of those ones stomping out of there.
Who did that last year?
Yeah, that was...
Gino.
Was it Gino? No, it wasn't Gino, was it? Gino Smith? No. It'll come to me.
It was somebody quarterback that said, I'm not coming back for day 2. And they're like, you're going to be like the first pick.
That was Gino.
All right.
Well, it was Jerry Rice Cake last year. That's why he's back in for this year's draft, because he didn't like the way last year went, so he came back.
All right. There you go. All right. Let's get over and touch on our NASCAR chat for this week. And, that's brought to you by Herb FM Sports Radio down in Maryland. All right. So get over to herbfm.com. Check them out. Saturday afternoons, you can catch at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours of this program aired right there on their internet radio station, herbfm.com. And frequently then they rebroadcast this then during the week. All right, NASCAR. 10th race this past week in Talladega. Typical Talladega. average speeds of 152 miles per hour, 48 lead changes over 23 different drivers, 8 cautions, but really there were only 3 major wrecks. Nonetheless, we ended with a green-white checkered. And it was Denny Hamlin taking his first of the season, pretty much, as we've talked about, getting himself into the chase. Denny Hamlin takes it. He came in. He got first, starting from 34th. Greg Biffle came in second. He started 35th. Clint Boyer third. Brian Vickers came in fourth. A.J. Allmendinger came in 5th. Probably the most dramatic wreck of them all came in lap 176, which involved Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Jimmy Johnson, well, and others. I did say it was Talladega, right? Any other observations with regard to Talladega? Anything else? Did I miss anything? Okay. Let's take a look real quick at the leaderboard. There was really no changes whatsoever in the personnel on the leaderboard this week, but there were position changes. Carl Edwards dropped from 3rd down to 5th, and then that left Kyle Busch and Dale Jr. to move up to 3rd and 4th. But because we are now ranking by wins until we see another number 2, another second winner, somebody getting their second, we're not going to see the top change. So that's going to stay that way now until we see another second-time winner. We got an update.
The Browns traded to pick to the Bills.
That's interesting.
Yeah, who knows what they're after? They're after something.
They're trading
Sammy Watkins.
to the Bills. The Bills will be picking in the 9th spot.
Might be that Sammy Watkins. They have nil options.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
They're going for Johnny Manziel.
What's Bills going to go for?
Yeah, buddy.
They're not going to go for Manziel. They drafted
I'm kidding.
Bills going for a quarterback?
Watkins. Sammy Watkins.
Oh, you think you think the Bills are going? Okay, the Bills are. Okay.
That's my guess.
All right. Well, okay. All right. What do the Browns get out of it?
They don't say yet.
Well, I mean, they're going to get, if they're trading for the Bills' pick, that would be the 9th if they did a clean swap. But
Plus they'll probably get a 3rd or something in there.
All right. Okay.
They're going, what are you talking about? They're going for more dysfunction. That's what they always go for. It's Cleveland. Huh? Come on.
They trade up to get Donald Trump.
They want
exactly.
Would that be rice cake?
Yeah, that's who.
They're going for rice cake. Okay. Race 11 coming up this Saturday. We've had a lot of Saturday races, a lot of nighttime races. And here we go with another one. Race 11, heading to Kansas Speedway. Race begins over on Fox, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that means that we got to have your picks for this week. Uncle Mark, I need some help.
No. So we're gonna go to the mile-and-a-half oval at Kansas. So let's get to the picks. So it's pick'em night.
Yeah, it's draft night.
Pick and a 4th round pick next year from the Bills to move up 5 positions.
On top of the 9th pick.
On top of the 9th. They got the 9th. They got the 9th this year, the 15 first-round pick, and the 4th-round pick of the Bills.
Well, that's pretty rich. Okay.
Yep. Sounds like a Rams thing.
It does.
So anyway, let's see. Here we go. NASCAR picks for Kansas. We're going to go with Jeff Gordon, 2775. 2 wins at this track and 11 top 10s. Then we're going to go with Sliced Bread, Joey Logano, 2625. He's got 2 wins this season, and he's in the top 5 in points at mile-and-a-half tracks.
Sammy Watkins.
There you go. Sammy Watkins is $26.
Very nice.
And he'll be racing the Buffalo Bills car.
Yeah. Sammy Watkins is racing. Now I'm really confused. Sammy Watkins.
What the hell is happening? Who's in charge there?
We're going to go with Brad Keselowski, $26. He's won here before, and he was strong at both Vegas and Texas this year. And then our, Mr. Irrelevance, we have Dave Gilliland at $13.
Okay.
And our usual lucky dog, Reed Sorensen, 675.
So it sounds like a Team Penske race at Kansas. Is that what I hear? Really?
I'm leaning on the Penske guys this week.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you look at how they've been doing this season, especially at the 1.5 mile tracks. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. How many poles? Right. You know.
Yep. Exactly.
How many poles or seconds? Right. So.
That's what she said.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Well, it is draft day. That's why she said it.
All right, there you go. There's our NASCAR, our /NASCAR NFL football draft chat for this evening. And we appreciate it because all of that wrapped up together, brought to you by our good friends over at Herb FM Sports Radio. Oh, I forgot the
yes.
Well, they're getting they're getting their pitch early, so then I'll just skip through it. But no, let's take a look real quick. Here's our leaderboard for our Frat House Sports NASCAR Fantasy League. You want to mention? Dominating.
Yeah.
Dominating performance. I wanted to come from you. That's right. Sidekick Spoilers up there at the top, which is our fantasy team, sitting up there at the top.
Hey, I bumped up to 5th.
Yeah.
And you apparently hit the brakes.
Yeah, I have not had a couple of very good races. Got to do better this week. Otherwise, next week I will be off the board.
Well, that's what I don't get. I sit here every week and I give you the picks.
This has been your argument with me for 3 years. What do you want me to tell you?
So,
and our
there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
6th. So that the big mover there from our technical director, Brandon. All right, and there we go. Yes, and there's our NASCAR chat, brought to you by Herb FM, herbfm.com. Okay. All right, let's get over to our Frat House Sports Facebook posts of the week. Have I mentioned our Facebook page this evening? I don't think I have. You got to get out to that. You got to give us a like. All right, find Frat House Sports, give it a like, and then you can get in on
cute
some
cat
of the
pictures.
Exactly. Some of the frivolity that we put up. No, we don't normally put up cat pictures. It just so happened, I kind of came across this one, and it just reminded me of some of the sports viewing that we do right here at the Frat House. Make no mistake, Frat House Sports has got a little bit of sporting action for everyone. As you can see, our group of cats there just thoroughly sitting on the edge of their seat watching.
I was going to say, it looks like us during football season.
That's right, that was exactly, or the draft. But Frat House Sports, Facebook, give us a like, tell your friends to like us, then you can participate in all the stuff we talked about. All right, last but not least, make sure you get over to our website, frathousesports.net. All of our...
It's number 1.
It's number...
That's the first round pick right there.
Right there. Frathousesports.net. Well, all of our videos are over there. All these shows are over there. We've got all of our articles are over there. So get over frathousesports.net and keep in touch with us right there. All right? Okay. We got the draft we got to go check out for the next 3 hours or so.
I'm empty. I mean, come on. Something's got to give.
And we appreciate...
First round's over already.
First round?
I'm for round.
We're going on to the second round.
You were supposed to make that last the whole first round. Okay, so we got all that to do, and we appreciate you being here with us on draft night. Hope you had a lot of fun with it. We have fun doing these types of shows. One more thing I'm going to ask you to do. You know what that is? Go ahead. Oh, stop it. Get out of here.
You're going to start that again?
Distracting me. Little does he know I can't see out of that eye, but barely. I just see a blurred. But in the meantime, hopefully I'll come back looking a little better next week. Keep us real. Keep us live. Keep us going. We'll see you next week.
Oh, boy, is my face red.
Well, I chose Jerry Rice Cake.
Oh,
for like multiple teams myself.
Multiple. I don't know. I don't know how you were able to do that.
I liked his number. He comes in the 13th rank. So something about the 13. I said, that's my guy right there.
I don't know.
That was going to be my gaff.
Oh, damn, dude.
All right. Then we'll jump over.
It's all right. I got other gaffs, though.
Yeah.
We'll jump over.
I got plenty of gaffs.
We'll jump over to the NHL.
Laughing gaffs.